about women empowerment in the civil and political field, and we're joined in the studio by radio journalist Mr. Lubna Salman. Good morning.
Good morning to you and happy Women's Day to you.
Good morning, Ms. Lubna. Ms. Lubna, how do you see the participation of women now in the Egyptian society on the political and civil society level?
Well, if we talk about the role of Egyptian women in society, well, it started very early. I mean, it's not a new thing.
Indeed.
It started well back in the ancient Egypt. We had examples of women who were very strong, and they had power in the political and in the social level. Let's talk about Queen Hatshepsut, for instance.
Lady Pharaohs.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Also, we have, if you go back to the Egyptian Museum, you'll find statues of women standing side by side by men. And the statues that are beauty and a marvel about women, like Nofret, for instance, like the head of Nefertiti. We're talking about strong women in history, not only now.
Yes, and also even the modern movement we started early. We started in the 1920s.
Yeah, and earlier.
And even 1919, but you know, in 1920, that's when the Safiya Zaghloul removed the veil, and then Hoda Sha'rawi made her female empowerment movement. We had Qasim Amin, so it was a very rich era at that time.
Yes, and if we talk also about fighting colonialism and fighting the occupation, the women were there. They were fighting against the occupation, and they were there defending the homeland, defending their homes as well. So it's an ancient role, actually.
Now, how can we further empower women in the Egyptian society?
Well, being in Egyptian society, she is there in the Egyptian society.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I'm saying further.
Further.
Yes.
Well, we have to look after. We have many sustaining women. They are sustaining their families. Apart from men, they are taking the role, assuming this role alone. So this is very important. We have to empower those women because they are doing a great job, actually.
To what extent we are working on that, Ms. Lubna, nowadays?
Well, I guess the National Council for Women is working on it. I guess that many bodies are concerned about this, and they are doing this. I mean, also in the Parliament, I guess they are doing this. So it's not they are moving.
Yes.
Don't get all the steps all at once, but you get one step, and then you go further for the other step. So I guess this is what's going on now.
Well, I think that throughout the past years, the couple of years following the revolution, actually female political empowerment is stronger. It has been seen in the revolution. During the revolution, it has been seen even when we look at the percentage of women in parliament. But we always say that we need more. How do you see that?
Yes, because we need more. Because, actually, when we have over 400 members in the parliament and you only have less than 100, so we need more. At least half.
Do you see a real change in the political role of women in Egypt from 2010 till today?
Of course, there's some difference now. Where we have now more women as ministers, we have more women.
We have seen the first woman governor.
As a governor as well, yes. So this is this is an evidence that women are now, the woman is now getting more political role, political participation in Egypt.
What about lady ministers? Do you feel that we have enough ministers?
I guess now we have a minister that's assuming two ministries. Yes, two ministries now.
We would like from here on Women's Day to hear the role played by Dr. Sahar Nasr in both ministries, the Ministry of International Cooperation and Investment, which are two quite difficult ministries to handle, and she's doing quite a great job.
Well, Dr. Sahar Nasr has been, since she assumed, the Ministry of International Cooperation, she's a very active woman, as I see. Going here and there and participating in Davos, participating in, actually international fora in different countries. She's doing, more participations for the Egyptian women in international fora. And also she's been chosen several times as Woman of the Year. Last year, she was chosen by the UN as Woman of the Year for Sustainable Development. So this is an evidence that Egyptian woman is doing her great role on the international, not just on the national, but on the international level as well. And she's very active, as I said. Dr. Sahar is very active as well.
Now, for the civil participation. We have a lot of civil society organizations, and we have a lot of female civil society associations. Do you feel that their role is enough in the society? Do you feel that these civil society organizations need to be increased, or the work needs to be enhanced, or are you satisfied with what they are doing?
For me, I guess I'm satisfied because, well, most of the civil societies are run by women. So, and most of the members also are women. So I guess this is, well, I'm satisfied by this.
Moving on to the women parliamentarians, we have seen an increase in the number of women in the Egyptian parliament, in the current House of Representatives. We have seen many young women as well, like Rania Alwani, Marian Azer, of course. Many women, they are active, they are playing a very positive role in the parliament. So how do you see the participation of women in parliament, in the current parliament or House of Representatives, and what more we should be seeking in the coming parliament?
Well, actually, some of them, well, fought, actually, when they were running the elections, and they were very, I don't know how to say, they were very, well, people who wanted to choose them, would choose women, because they knew that they were going to do something. Well, women, well, if we see the Egyptian woman, well, in society, we see that she's doing well at home. She's the one who runs everything. She's the one who can, depend on her in running the economy of the house, in running the politics of the house. She's the one who can, when having now the economic reform, she's the one who can go with the austerity measures.
And we are seeing some photos here of our parliamentarians.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Hassouna.
Yes, Marian Azer, Rania Alwani.
Yes.
And we have Dr. Bassam Fahmy, of course. Many women are very active women, to be honest, and they are active in parliament as well. So do we seek here to increase also the participation of women in the coming parliament?
Yes, I guess so, because I guess this is a step. We will have.
And we want them also to be elected, not only appointed by the president.
Well, many were elected. That's what I mean.
High numbers.
Yes, high numbers.
We are more busy.
Yes, I guess that
more ambitious.
The elections were not easy actually this time, because we were forming a parliament after some years of absence. So we needed a real parliament, and having 90 women this time, I guess this will be a step for further women in the coming parliament.
Now, as a radio journalist, certainly throughout your work you meet a lot of fine examples and role models. Also, sometimes you meet women with issues. Yes. So would you talk to us about your experience?
When I meet women, they are always enthusiastic about the work. This is one thing about women. They're always enthusiastic. And they want to show what they are really doing and how they are doing it. And they are giving examples, actually, of them. And they never look about this is something about women, that we always say that women don't tell the age or something. No, they say the age because they want to say that even if we are growing older, no, we're still working.
I think it's an old thing now. No one is concerned anymore about these issues.
I mean that men still say that women are concerned about this. No, this is not. Through my work, it's not like that, actually.
Ms. Lubna, what about the appointment of the first governor of El Bahira? How do you think that it's another proof of the appreciation of the role of women and the importance of the role of women and the role that she could be playing in different fields, as a governor, of course, as a minister, and maybe more in the coming periods? So,
well, actually,
is it an appreciation? Are we starting to be more aware of the role that a woman could be playing in Egypt?
Well, having first appreciation is declaring this year as the Year of the Woman.
Yes.
So this is where something, the declaration by
really
the president.
Appreciation by the president
By
himself.
the president, yes. But even the president, when he talks about, even in his addresses, he always talks about the woman. He says that the Egyptian woman is the cornerstone of the society, cornerstone of the home. She's the one who can lead the families and lead the sons and children, daughters of the country to take up the country. So he's always stresses on the role of the women. So that's declaring the Year of the Woman is a first appreciation of her role in society.
What about in terms of the labor market? Do you feel that we have the same equal opportunities, more or less?
Well, some of the jobs are still limited to men, not women. So, but I guess the women now are proving themselves. Having the governor is one thing.
Yes. Are we expecting here to see an increase in the participation of women in different fields in the coming period, especially on the political and top jobs?
Well, I guess we have it now. We have ministries now. We have ministers now.
We did have ministers before, but yes, the number is increasing.
Yes, yes, increasing. And now we have parliamentarians. We have governors. I guess that it's going to go more and more.
Mm. Yeah, and right now we have on air a photograph of the First Lady Judge. That was years ago, I think, when that occurred. Now, how do you see that? That was quite a struggle for ladies to fight to be attorney generals and to take the position of judges.
Yes, yes. Well, as I said, well, some of the jobs were limited to men, and then it's
here
always a
the
fight.
scene has started to change somehow.
Yes, 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 of course, yes.
We have also a woman climber for mountains.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very hard as well.
So we are seeing real participation of women in different fields, not only on the political or business domain, but also in the sports field and other fields.
And even now, when I go, taking my way on to work and taking the flyer, and see now that girls are having the bikes and going to the universities on bikes, going to, it's on motorcycles.
Are we starting to accept these scenes? Yes. Are they becoming more socially accepted? Because usually when we used to see these scenes, we used to criticize women, and some males they were not very at ease with these scenes. Yeah. Are we starting to accept these scenes, and women do feel more comfortable while doing that in the street with no harassment, with no annoyment from the society?
Well, women always take the first step.
We have to stand for that.
Yes, we have to say first. This should be a first time first. Well, we have the first time, the first woman who does this, and then other women will follow. And I guess now they have having the determination to do what was not accepted by society, because this is nothing to do with society. I mean, it's nothing about against the ethics of society. It's nothing against the principles of society. No, it's something normal. I guess everyone should do it.
Yes. Now, as we're celebrating Egyptian Women's Day today, and this month actually was dedicated by the United Nations also to Women's International Day, how do you see, how can we celebrate it? What should we do on such an occasion?
Yes. And we also have Mother's Day on the 21st.
Yes, and the 21st, yeah, this is entirely Marsh's entirely for us.
Last week it was the Women's
International Day. Yes.
And I believe also
March is the month of women.
It's our month. Yes.
Yes, and I guess also March is dedicated to women, actually, and it's not just for men, because the women or mothers are the ones who raised those people who sacrificed their lives for the land. So they are the mothers, and this is, Mother's Day is also dedicated to women.
Yes,
so it's the month of the woman.
So how do you see, what should we do? How should we celebrate it? In addition, of course, that we're talking together right now, but what else?
Of course, we don't have to say that, the woman is half the society and, this talk. No, we have to say that you are the half of the society, so you have to, attain the status that you deserve. You have to be appreciated by society, whatever you do, because you are, as I said, she's the cornerstone of the house. She's the one who can the one who can manage, arrange things economically, politically, and I mean that, keeping the house will have a housekeeper. She's also, this is politics, not politics in the, I shouldn't say it in the,
broader,
brackets, in the literal meaning of politics.
So do you feel that there should have been a certain type of celebration that takes place, or some type of cultural venue, symposiums, or maybe
this is part of the celebration when we talk, but I mean that we should have it abstractly, not abstract, concrete. I mean, we should have more women in positions. There are some positions still, but I guess that women, when we have it as a manager, as a director, she can she could prove herself well.
Yeah, indeed.
Ms. Lubna, if we are talking here about the women who are somehow supporting the whole family.
Yes.
It's a real problem that some women are facing in the Egyptian society. Yes. Many of them, they were deserted by their husbands. Many of them were, their husband passed away or whatsoever.
Yes.
They do face many challenges. So how can we start to pay more attention to these women who are supporters of their families, and somehow some of them, they do not have a proper job and they do suffer a lot, and many of them do have bills and maybe debts to pay.
And they were imprisoned for that.
Yes.
Yes. Well, of course, well, some of, and even if they said, you said that they are deserted by their husband. No, sometimes the husband is there, but he's not working,
yes.
and he's depending on
many,
them. Yes.
especially in some certain social classes,
yes,
it's the case.
Yes, that's so. Well, we have to help them by, well, I guess where the councils are well concerned with this, that they give them, they try to give them jobs, honorable jobs that they can sustain themselves and sustain their families.
Do you believe here that the NGOs and the civil society and the Ministry of Social Solidarity should be playing an important role in these domains?
Well, the Ministry of Social Solidarity is giving them some of the pension. There's a pension, this honored pension, Karama, Tekaful to Karama. I guess this is the program meant for this women.
What about, from your point of view, the role of the National Council for Women? Do you feel that they need to do more? Especially for women in the countryside, because here we're seeing educated women in the cities, but for ladies and farmers, these sometimes they don't have the same opportunities as us here in the cities.
Well, I guess if you go to the page of the National Council for Women, well, I guess they are given, they said what they are doing and what...
do you feel it's enough there?
Well, you can't say enough because we are many. We are talking about millions here, and well, they've been neglected for years. So when we start working, you're not going to do it all at once and all at one time. No, you have to take steps gradually, and you start with you know, we have now to. I guess they are treating them from VIC, for instance. This is one thing. This is very important because when we have patients and we have diseases and they are not in good health, they are not going to work. They are not going to offer anything. So we start with them with the VIC. We have to treat them from VIC, and we have to detect if they have VIC. So this is one step. And I guess that the other steps will follow as well.
Yes, Ms. Lubna, what, from your point of view, are the main challenges that most of women are still facing in Egypt and we have to tackle and face in order to have better and smooth living conditions for women? Education.
Other people should know that woman is not weak. Women are not weak. They are not a weak sex. No, they are not. They are very strong, and they can have the responsibility of an entire family without the help of anyone. So they are very strong, and they can persevere. They have patience. They can do everything. So we have to accept that. We have to treat them as such, as parity, not as something inferior. No.
Yes, well, indeed, I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Lubna Salman. Thank you very much for this interview, and happy Women's Day.
And to you as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lubna.
Same to you.
Well, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Breakfast Show. But first of all, I have to thank my colleague Mahisti Rabia. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mahisti.
you very much, Rasha, and thank you very much, our dear viewers. Tomorrow is another day with another crew of The Breakfast Show. Till then, it's goodbye.